Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So before we talk about anything today, I just wanted to let you know about confidentiality.
Okay.
And what confidentiality is that everything in this room is going to stay between us, but there are limits to confidentiality. One being if you wanted to end your life or someone else's, I will have to break confidentiality. Another is being if there's signs of sexual or physical abuse to a child, a person with a disability, or an elderly, I will have to break confidentiality, and if the courts ask for your records. But I'll let you know if any of that happens. Do you have any more questions? Any questions?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, so what would you like to talk about today?
So I'm feeling kind of confused, and I guess I feel like I just need to let it off my chest. So I've been married for 11 years. No, 15. Sorry. I've been married for 15 years.
Okay.
I have 2 children. Sorry, I just get really nervous. Like, when I laugh, I'm nervous. Okay, but anyways. So, if you see me laughing, that's why. Okay, so I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. And I'm actually pregnant right now.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
So what I hearing you tell me is that you've been married for 15 years and you have 2 kids right now and 1 on the way.
Yeah.
And do you are you happy in the relationship?
With my husband?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
Good. So let's go back to you feeling nervous. Can you tell me why you felt nervous?
I guess I just feel nervous because I have a boyfriend. We've been together for 5 years.
A boyfriend? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I just found out that this baby's actually his.
Okay.
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So, I'm feeling just kind of like, yikes. What do I do? Do I tell my husband? We've been married for 15 years, so like, he's gonna be really pissed, you know? He's gonna be so mad. So I don't know if I should just kind of leave it and not tell him, or do I tell him?
Can you tell me more about the relationship between you and your boyfriend?
So we actually met. I have a full-time job right now. I'm a nurse. And so he was actually one of my patients.
Oh, okay.
So he came in because he had a shot wound inside, basically.
Oh. Really?
So I basically. Do you think this is too juicy?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So I basically helped him, and then after he was done and stuff, he left the hospital because nurses aren't supposed to date their patients.
Yeah.
And then he left, and then like 2 weeks later, he came back and was like, "Hey, I think you're really pretty. Can I have your number?" I gave it to him, and yeah, we've been seeing each other for 5 years, which honestly, I don't think cheating is okay. So when I gave him my number, I was like, oh, like, we could be friends and stuff. And then I fell in love with him. And so now we're 5 years in.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you're in a happy relationship with your boyfriend, but yet you still love your husband?
Yeah. And I feel like that's what I'm, like, most confused with is I love them both. And, I have a relationship with my boyfriend that I really love a lot, but then at the same time, like, I've been with my husband for 15 years, like, we have 2 kids, and...
Do you feel like telling your husband about your boyfriend would ruin that special relationship that you guys have had for that 15 years?
Yeah. Before me and him started dating, he actually had another girlfriend, and she cheated on him.
Oh, okay.
So I think by me telling him, it would just like crush it.
Yeah.
Especially because we do have 2 kids and we've been together for so
So what I'm hearing you say is you kind of feel like it will ruin the relationship if you do tell your husband about your boyfriend.
Yeah, I definitely think it would. He'd probably ask for a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to lose him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I also feel like I don't want to hurt him by telling him because obviously it'll crush him.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, what can I do? I love my boyfriend.
What I heard you say earlier is that you don't think cheating is right, but yet, no, I can't say that.
Yeah, because that's your personal.
Mm-hmm.
We can go into. Just do silence. So yeah, I don't know what to do. I mean, I think I feel confused. Well, I don't think. I know I feel confused because should I tell my husband about the baby or should I just say that it's his?
Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing you say is you're kind of conflicted on whether to tell your husband whether if the baby is his or not.
Yeah. Because I feel like, obviously, if I don't tell him it's his, then obviously, he's going to get mad and say who. And, but if I kind of just lie, then I won't hurt him.
Yeah, so do you feel like it will be easier to just not tell him the truth? Or do you feel like it will be...
I feel like it'll be easier on him. Because what he doesn't know won't hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also feel like that's going to be rough on me. Like having that guilt,
Yeah. I think.
So I don't know what to do. I mean, obviously I think it would hurt him no matter what because that's not his child. But at the same time, it would hurt him if I told him about my boyfriend.
Have you discussed this with your boyfriend?
About telling him about my
Yeah.
husband? Kind of. He knows about my husband.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows a little bit, but not everything.
And what kind of holds you back from telling him everything?
My boyfriend gets jealous really easily. So if I tell him like, oh, I love my husband, I don't want to, hurt him, then he'll just get mad.
Okay. So it sounds like there's kind of some jealousy in the relationship, and that's kind of holding you back from wanting to tell your husband the truth because you don't want to ruin that relationship as well.
Definitely. I feel like I don't want to hurt either of them, so I'm just kind of like stuck in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just nervous. I mean, what if I have the baby and it looks nothing like my husband? And it looks like my boyfriend?
Yeah, and then, I don't know, it would kind of cause a commotion.
Yeah. But I don't know. I have pretty strong genes. I mean, our 2 other kids look exactly like me, so fingers crossed.
You seem kind of careless about the whole situation and other people's, and like how your husband might feel and how your boyfriend might feel.
That might be a little rough.
Or like you seem
not worried.
You seem like you're telling me that you're kind of conflicted, but you seem not worried about telling your boyfriend or your husband about the baby.
Yeah. I just feel like I'm the kind of person like it is what it is. So, I mean, obviously I care about both of them. I just don't know. I guess the reason why I feel so whatever about it is so actually one of our children that me and my husband have together, that's actually not his.
Do you know who the father is?
Yeah, it's my boyfriend.
Okay, so you're telling me that the one on the way and also one of your younger children is your boyfriend's?
Yeah, my 3-year-old is actually my boyfriend's.
Okay.
So I feel like I already kind of went through all of these feelings with my 3-year-old. So like now that this is happening again, I'm like.
Can you tell me how you felt when your 3-year-old was born?
I honestly didn't feel that sad because like I almost feel like I'm living like 2 different lives. So like with my husband, it's like I'm a mom and I like provide for my kids and like, you know, we're just like this like I feel like with my husband he's like the family kind of guy that I love.
Mm-hmm.
But then with my boyfriend it's kind of like it's fun, it's like careless, it's like so I feel like when I did have my 3-year-old, it was kind of like she fit better on that side of my life, you know, because I don't think my boyfriend would be a good dad.
So you're telling me that you are kind of in this relationship with your husband for the father figure,
Mm-hmm.
and you're in the relationship with your boyfriend for like the fun aspect and the lovey-dovey.
Yeah, definitely. You got it right. So I feel like I already went through all the emotions with my 3-year-old, so why am I going to kind of stress about this new baby or with my baby? But there's still that feeling that I'm like, because I told my boyfriend, you know, I was like, I said I'm pregnant, and I lied to him too. I said it was my husband's.
So he doesn't know that the baby right now is his.
Yeah, correct. He thinks it's my husband's, and my husband thinks it's his. And so I think that's where my boyfriend's jealousy kind of stems from, because he was kind of like, he didn't know me and my husband were that close at the time. He thought we were fighting, and he actually thought we were sleeping in separate rooms. But we were.
It sounds. So you're telling me that there's like a kind of like a wall put up between you and your boyfriend, and you're not really comfortable with telling him a lot of things, or like your personal life, you know?
Yeah, because I feel like when it comes down to my kids, I will choose them over anybody else. So I feel like I don't want to ruin that foundation and their foundation of like me and their father, well, you know, my husband. So I feel like when it comes down to my kids, like I will do anything for them. So I feel like that's why I kind of put that wall with my boyfriend, because I'm like, you're not going to ruin my kids' happiness, and I feel like they would just be happier with my husband on that side of my life. So I just kind of feel like when it comes to that, like my boyfriend needs to stay out of like me trying to be a mother.
I'm feeling kind of stuck because you're telling me that you kind of feel careless about the situation, but yet you seem to care.
Yeah.
About it a lot.
I think I put up a front that I don't care, but like deep down I'm like terrified. So I feel like I just kind of like hold all these emotions in, and obviously there's like no one I can talk to.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be a good idea to like come to therapy and kind of just get everything off my chest, because it's definitely weighing on me.
Can you tell me more about those emotions that you are feeling right now in the present?
Yeah, I just feel nervous. So I get really sweaty like in my palms, and then I kind of feel like my heart start beating, and I just, you know, I put up this front that I don't care, like how I kind of did in the beginning. But deep down, it's just like, it's there.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you are kind of feeling like not able to, I don't know, open up to someone and not feel comfortable in the situation where you can open up to somebody.
Mm-hmm. I guess just my thing that I'm the most concerned with is that I've been feeling guilty, because I think with my 3-year-old, I was terrified.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not, we already had a 5-year-old, me and my husband.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to ruin his happiness. And after we had my 5-year-old, we tried for another, but we couldn't. So I think he was really upset. So when I found out I was pregnant, I told him, he was ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to like ruin that. So I was like obviously terrified, but I was obviously happy, that we were gonna have another one. But I feel like I was so terrified that I just shoved everything deep down, like, inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I'm pregnant, I feel like it's just like bringing up all these emotions, and I'm just feeling like so overwhelmed.
Where do you feel this overwhelmedness?
In my chest. I just feel like my heart's gonna like pop out of my chest.
And are there certain times that you noticed you feel more overwhelmed?
Yeah, I think I feel more overwhelmed like when my boyfriend starts like asking me questions.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be like, well, are you really happy with your husband? Are you like, he'll just keep asking me, and I'm just like, stop.
Yeah.
So I think seeing my husband and the kids together, I feel like when I'm with him, I feel like I could like easily drop my boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that worries me is that I feel like I want to tell my husband the truth, but if I do, what if he leaves me and then I have no one?
So if you were to tell your husband the truth, what would you tell him?
I would say that I had an affair with another man, and our 3-year-old is not really his, and the one on the way is not his. Wow, that sounds awful.
And how do you think he would react?
I think he would first be really mad and not talk to me, and then I think after a while he would be really sad, which is the emotion that I'm the most scared for.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's a possibility that he might leave you and that's why you're kind of holding the truth back?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Going back to your boyfriend, what do you think you would be missing if he wasn't in your life?
Like, what do I think his emotions are, or what?
Like, if he wasn't your boyfriend.
Oh, like,
how would you feel?
I think I would feel kind of sad at first, but I would feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm like tired of this lie. It's been 5 years. 5 years and 2 kids. Like, it's like starting to be too much. Like, I don't feel as happy as I thought I once was. So I feel like in the beginning it was fun and it was easy and all this stuff, and then now with all this stuff happening with like, I don't know, I feel like with a 3-year-old I was kind of able to like control how I felt because I shoved it down.
Yeah.
But I feel like now with the baby, it's just like I can't take it. Like, I can't go through this again.
So if you were to tell your boyfriend the truth like you did your husband, what would you tell him?
I would just tell him that, I feel like I would tell him that that was actually his child. And I would say, now that I'm pregnant again, like I can't go through this again. Like, I just want a solid family. I think in the beginning of the 5 years, I was kind of young and immature. So I think it was kind of like, it was fun. And now I just feel like I'm just ready to leave.
Do Do you think he would be understanding? Or do you think he would react in a certain way and that's why you're kind of nervous to tell him?
I think he would be really mad at first,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not ready to be a father.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just concerned with my boyfriend because I'm like, what if he actually wants the kids, or what if he tries to, do something and like,
Yeah.
so I wish I could just tell him and just like leave it, and then tell my husband, and then he would be okay with it. But I don't think that could happen.
So what I'm hearing you say is you are between a rock and a hard place, kind of, and like feeling that conflict between wanting to feel this way and wanting to feel another way, but still going back to the aspect of your husband and your family.
Yeah, I feel like my family is the number one priority.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was in the beginning of mine and my boyfriend's relationship, but I think now that I'm getting older, it's kind of starting to, because me and my husband got married when we were 21.
Uh-huh.
So it was kind of like, I was still a child.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I wasn't ready to completely settle down.
Yeah.
So I'm just like living with that guilt of then.
I can kind of feel how you're feeling because I was in a relationship and I got married when I was 21, and we were together for 12 years.
Wow.
And I kind of hid a lot of things from my husband, but didn't really tell him anything because I felt like it would affect his feelings. But once those feelings came out and like the truth came out, it kind of took a turn for the worse, in which I was trying to avoid the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, it's hard. You definitely feel guilty for not telling the truth or not revealing the feelings that you're feeling.
Yeah. Well, that's awful that you had to go through that, but I appreciate you telling me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it always feels better when someone says, like, what they're feeling.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
So, yeah, I just, I don't know. And I just been going through so many, like, what ifs in my head, and I'm like, what if I tell my husband, and then depending on what he says, like, maybe he could adopt my 3-year-old and my new baby. So that way, if my boyfriend tries to come and says, oh, I want him back, or, I can say, too late. But that's even if my husband wants to, I mean.
Do you think he would want to?
I think no matter what happens with me, I think he would be there for them, even though they might not be theirs. Because they were practically, he hasn't known any different.
Yeah.
So I think he would.
So what I'm hearing you say is that your husband would kind of be supportive throughout, like, your feelings and your decisions in the relationship and between you telling your husband about your boyfriend.
I think he'd be supportive of, like, no matter what would happen, he would support our kids.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he'd be supportive of me. I just feel guilty because I just go back because I feel like I wish this would have never happened, but then at the same time, like, I would have never had my 3-year-old, and she's, like, the cutest thing ever.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't have had this baby, or I wouldn't be pregnant. But at the same time, I just, like, wish I wouldn't have Because me and my boyfriend have been together for 5 years. So that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wish we, would have called it off immediately when it happened and not.
Continue the relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
You think it would be easier if you didn't?
Mm-hmm.
But what made you stay?
Good question. I think I stayed with him because I kind of felt like, because at first it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards I would want to say 3 years, maybe halfway through, it started becoming I just was guilty anytime I was with him. And I think it started stemming from just me thinking about my husband and thinking about how it would affect him.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's really no one I can talk to, so I've just been living with this guilt this entire time.
Do you feel like you're comfortable enough to talk to me about this situation?
You're the only one I talk to. And I feel like you're very understanding, even though it is a crazy situation.
Has it kind of helped you just not decide, but kind of decipher what your feelings and how you might go about the situation?
Yeah, I think after talking about it with you, I definitely feel like I almost just want to clear my conscience and just say everything.
And what is holding you back? The fact that you don't really want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Honestly, at this point, I'm whatever about my boyfriend. If he is upset, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I just don't want him to try and take the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think he will, because he's not ready to be a father.
Yeah.
But there's just that what if he comes back, or what if he tries to get them, or what if he comes to my house and him and my husband fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think my husband would win.
Do you feel like there could be a positive aspect in the fact telling your boyfriend? Do you think he would react positively? Or do you think there'll only be a negative outcome?
I think it'll be negative for him because he'll be sad.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be positive for me because then I can just kind of
It'll be kind of like a relief off your shoulders.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel but also I feel like my boyfriend, he might get over it within a couple weeks. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Because it was just fun.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. We never went into it being I want to be with you forever.
Yeah.
It just kind of snowballed into 5 years. So, I'm more nervous for my husband and his reaction.
Yeah. It sounds like you're kind of coming to a conclusion on what you might want to say.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing now is, after talking to him and stuff, I feel like I want to end things with my boyfriend. I think now it's just a matter of, do I tell him the kids are his, or do I just leave it with my husband?
And I think that's something that we can talk about in the next session. I think we should cover just maybe, if you want, how to approach your boyfriend more in just not a nice way, but just how to approach him and how to eventually talk to your husband about the situation. And I think we could talk about in the next session.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Did you feel like this was good for you? A good start?
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't really have anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of just making me feel super crazy. But now that I'm talking to you, it actually feels like I can breathe.
Yeah. That's good. I'm glad. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. I'll see you next time.
All right.